I'm LeilaFox. So today we're going to talk about our biggest regrets in Raid. Now, I know I can't be the only one that absolutely regrets 60ing some champs in the game. So today I'm going to share with you 5 champs I absolutely regret 60ing. Leave me some comments on who your biggest regrets are. Let's go check them out. All right, the first champ I'm going to start with is Elegais. Now, I will also say that Elegais was the first actual fusion champ I was able to complete, because if I recall, Elegais was the fragment champ for October 2020. I started playing the game in May 2020, and this was the first one I was able to complete. Now, in the beginning, she was kind of useful for me for a couple reasons. Because of this dead stop. It attacks an enemy, puts the target's skills on cooldown, and if the enemy team has any duplicates, also puts their skills on cooldown. So where you end up seeing this the most is probably Doom Tower. You know what I mean? You can see that in Doom Tower. I mean, also you can see it in Faction Wars as well too, like when you're coming up against those Valkyrie waves or those Thalia waves. But for me, that was kind of it. So initially in the beginning, you know, I had 60'd Elegais. Elegais did help me out in the Doom Tower, did also help me out in the Undead Faction Wars. But honestly, ever since then, like you're gonna see, she doesn't have any gear. And luckily, I only put a couple masteries on her, not very, very much. I took most of the gear off. The gear is kind of terrible because I haven't used Elegais in quite a while. So I feel like, unfortunately, Elegais for me is kind of wasted. You know what I mean? So Elegais, unfortunately, happens to be one of my most regretted 60s. The next one is going to be Corrado. I mean, even look at this. He doesn't have any gear on him. Corrado also was a fragment champ. This was, I want to say it was this year. Corrado was a February 2022, came out the same time as Yumeko. Now, Yumeko is the one that everybody wants because he is bonded with Yumeko. As you're going to see here on Bedevil, it attacks an enemy, places a stun, grants an extra turn, and resets the cooldown if Yumeko's on the team and the skill kills an enemy. Also, same thing here is Suppression Ward. AoE has block active skills. A debuff cannot be resisted if Yumeko's on the same team. And then also the passive. Stoicism. Damage inflicted by this champion cannot be decreased by enemy passive skills or masteries, except by passive skills of bosses. Whenever Yumeko dies, instantly grants a turn to this champ and resets the cooldown of each of his skills. So he does have abilities that pairs with Yumeko, but I think a lot of people agree that Yumeko is definitely the strongest of the two. So I did end up 60ing him. You see he has no gear. So I literally haven't ran him anywhere. I don't have Yumeko. I haven't ran him in Arena. I haven't taken him in Faction Wars because when I had tested him on the test server, he seemed a bit weak in Shadowkin Faction Wars without Yumeko, especially compared to some of the other Shadowkin champs that I have. So unfortunately, you know, he kind of became a champ that I feel like I probably wasted some resources on. He probably could have stayed a 50 for a while. Next one I have on here is Vildrax. Oh man, I don't know about you guys. When the Hydra came out and they were talking about the Mischief Head, how you were going to want a Hex. Because if you don't have Hex on Mischief, Mischief redirects most of the time. You don't get any hits in. So in my mind, when I was calculating this, I was like, okay, this is great. We got this guy. He has a Hex here. It's an AoE Hex, right? On all of the Hydra heads, which is kind of cool. And then we have Swarm of Horrors, which is an AoE, has an 80% chance of increase in the duration of enemy debuffs. And when hitting enemies under Hex, has a chance of putting one of the skills on cooldown. So we have all of this Hex here, but I found it not to be very useful. I tried it so much. You see, I've taken his gear off as well too, I gave him a really good run. I tried him in so many different comps in the Hydra, and it just didn't work out. I found out that my teams had longer sustainability and did more damage when I brought in a different champ. Like if I brought in a cleanser, if we brought in DPS, like if I brought in a different type of champ depending on the comp and just not dealing with this Hex, I found out my comps actually lasted longer. My champs didn't die as quickly. So unfortunately, I feel like this guy was such a waste. He's definitely one of the biggest regrets. Every time I pull him, I say that too. You know, will he become useful down the road? Maybe. I'm hoping, since I did spend the resources on him, but he definitely, unfortunately for me, happens to be one of my regrets as well. And I did not get any masteries on him, luckily, so we didn't waste anything there. Next one, guys, I'm gonna have to go with Scabrius. Look, when he came out, the running kind of joke is, you know, we have Death Knight and Mr. Nibbles. So kind of the joke was that this guy is Death Knight's Mr. Nibbles.
Oh man, this is gonna be great. How do I look? Good call on the pizza, Mr. Nibbles.
And how could you not 60 him just to try him out, have some fun with him? Now with him, I mean, he does have a poison on his A1. He's got AoE leech on the A2. Increase attack and a weaken on the A3. It's a single target. And his passive, his damage increases by 20% when attacking enemies under poison. I did test him out. I did test him out instead of other poisoners. You know, I did test him out in the Skinwalker factions, trying a couple different champs instead. And it was so difficult finding a place for this guy that it seemed like at this point, the resources used were kind of wasted. There's no masteries on him, luckily, but you do see I started taking his gear off. I've tried him in a Savage set as well, too. Doesn't mean he's attack based. So I tried a couple different things. It didn't really pan out, so I'm really not using him right now. And then the last one, I know my chat is not going to be shocked. Vagabond, absolutely, is a 60 regret. Now, how in God's name did this happen? There's a couple reasons this happened. One, Vagabond is creepy as heck. All right. Every time I get a Vagabond, Twitch chat, you know, they just love it. You know what I mean? They just love it because she is creepy as all heck, right? Two, I do have to cosplay as her.
The little guys.
Guys, I gotta tell you, so ever since Ash and I did the Harrier lore story that B King wrote for us, and he's like, Leila, I would love to see you do a lore story for Vagabond. Not only did she make a lore story about Vagabond for Ash, now I can't stop pulling her. I swear.
Right?
Now I'm just like, curse, I'm as cursed as she is.
It's everybody, it's the universe telling you, Leila, that you need to cosplay Vagabond. It's the universe.
No.
You can't,
we can read her story, but I'm not gonna cosplay her, no.
It's sacred time. Come on. You look so good with that big red dot on your face and in a huge, massive grin up to your ears and, you know, dead children all around your...
No one's going to
think
right. I like this. And unfortunately, Twitch chat caught me saying, if I get a Vagabond before I have to cosplay her, because I didn't think I would, that I would 60 her. And so, unfortunately, I did. I promise, between now and my obligatory June Vagabond cosplay, if I pull a Vagabond, we will keep her and we'll 6-star her. Here we go, guys. 60ing a Vagabond. Oh, did she become the people's champ too? This is painful, guys. This is actually really painful. Hope you guys are proud of yourselves. This is really painful. This is so painful right now. Hope you guys are proud of yourselves. My eyes! I know. This is terrible. I hope you memers and you scammers are proud of yourselves. She's now a 60. Unfortunately, I did. We ended up 60ing her, but man, guys, I mean, all right. So she has a sleep on her A1. Her A2 is a single target block buffs. Fills his champ's turn meter and the meter with the highest turn meter for someone else. A3 is join the troop. Fills the turn meter of allies. Increase attack buff on all allies. And she has an ally accuracy in arena battles by 30. So, yeah, I get it. The A3 is pretty nice. You know, we get the filling of the turn meters and an increased attack buff. You know, this is nice too. Fills her turn meter and also fills turn meter the highest. And I did put her, you can see that she's just in like divine speed and immortal. So we tried a couple things just for the memes, but I would have to say she definitely is not worth the resources. Did I even master her? Oh my gosh, I did not, thankfully. I mean, eventually she's probably going to have to. But Vagabond definitely, I would say, belongs on the list of champs I regret 60ing because right now, honestly, if I run her, it's just in meme things. Like, there's nothing serious I can run her in. Like, she doesn't belong in my Shadowkin faction war. She's just a meme at this point. So guys, my top 5 biggest regrets. We got Elegais, we have Corrado, Vildrax, Scabrius, and Vagabond. Leave me some comments down below and let me know what your biggest 6-star regrets are. And of course, you know, it's going to be different for everybody. It's going to be different depending on where you are in the game, of course, but I would love to know. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, check out some more videos up here in the playlist on the top right.